Well, now that that's over, back to studying for my midterm. uh... I'm headed to preceptorships. I'm a little stressed. I've been reviewing how to take a history and how to do like a behavioral intervention, and like I feel like I'm not prepared. I am not prepared to actually do this in real life with real patients. So, wish me luck. I feel like I'm doing my way.
Well, I'm currently sitting in my car. I just finished 2 hours, more like an hour and a half of preceptorship. It ended a lot sooner than I thought. My preceptor was like, oh yeah, these last 2 patients are pretty boring, so you can go home. And I was like, okay, cool. It's fine with me. More time for me to study for this midterm on Friday that I am unprepared for. But that was really cool getting to interact with real patients. Let's see, I saw 2 patients. I took a medical history of one of them. I was really nervous because even though I've like talked to myself in the mirror practicing taking a history, you know, when you actually do it with a real person, I'm always worried that the transitions for asking the questions will come out awkward, or like I won't know how to react or say, or like what to say when someone tells me like a concerning, you know, piece of their medical history or part of their health behaviors. So I'm glad that I was able to practice. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. And yeah, I on my way to becoming a real doctor. Woohoo. Okay, so now I'm going to go to Lowe's to go pick up a plastic table that I bought because, you know, studying without a desk on the floor is just, again, terrible, and I'm so fed up. I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy a table as I continue to wait for my desk delivery. I have a terrible habit of meaning to work hard and study hard, and then I don't study hard and I just read comics online instead of studying, and then it's like 10 p.m. and I'm like, oh shoot, I haven't reached my study goals for the day. And now I'm like, oh crap, I have 1 day until my exam and I know nothing. Why am I like this? Okay, if I've set my camera correctly, this is the exact view that you, POV standardized patient, would be seeing me, MS1, unprepared to do this sort of type of interview. I'm about to log into my standardized patient practice Zoom meeting thingy. So here I am in my bedroom, hopefully with an acceptable background, about to take a medical history, social history, family history, do a behavioral intervention. So let's see how this goes. I'm a little nervous, but hopefully I won't be too awkward. All right, my standardized patient experience is complete. That wasn't that bad. I actually really enjoyed that. You know, talking in the mirror to yourself, I guess really does pay off. Cool. I feel a tiny bit more like a real doctor now, I guess. Okay, so it's getting to that point in the night. It's 9:30 p.m. where I'm like, studying is futile at this point, but I still have a lot more to study and I just don't know everything, and I've been studying kind of, and Anyways, here's what I'm thinking. This is a little bit of an experiment because I've mostly just focused my studying on the past 2 weeks of lecture material, hoping that for this midterm, which is supposed to cover literally 79 lectures worth of material, I'm hoping that this lecture is more heavily weighted towards the last 2 weeks of material because we took our diagnostic exam 2 weeks ago and the first 2 weeks of class material. So yeah, if our exam is not more heavily weighted on the past 2.5 weeks of material, I'm screwed. And this is, I just realized as I was like thinking and studying, I don't know if this ever happens to you, but like when you're doing a task like studying, but then you're also having like another stream of consciousness thinking at the same time. So I'm like studying trisomy 13 and I'm like, wait, why am I focusing so heavily on the past 2 weeks? And then I was thinking like, oh, I think it was because I heard somewhere that our midterm would be more heavily weighted on the past 2.5 weeks of lecture. And then I started questioning my source of information, which I'm not quite sure was all that accurate. So at this point, it's a little too late to review everything that I've learned. Again, my Anki cards, I have not been keeping up with them, and I've been trying this different way of studying of more like, I guess, taking detailed notes of the lectures and just trying to synthesize everything. So we'll have to see if this new method of studying works for me. I think I just resorted to this because my Anki cards, I just couldn't keep up with them. Like, I'm super behind. So, keeping it all together. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna study for a couple more hours and then hopefully go to bed at a reasonable time so I can wake up and do well on my midterm at 8 a.m. Okay, here we go. I think this is the earliest I've woken up this week. For my... I don't think I studied the right things. We'll have to see and wait for the exam score results. But that did not feel as well. I do not feel as well about the exam as I did about the diagnostic test. So I had 23 flagged questions out of 50. Cool, so I was going to do some Friday afternoon baking to de-stress, but instead I got an email saying that our exam scores are out already. So we know what we're gonna do right now, and that is another exam score reaction. Again, not feeling super hyped about this one. I'm also really surprised that exam scores have already been released so quickly because my professors were like, yeah, you'll get your scores like next week. And I was just pretty resigned to the fact that I would not know until next week, but here we are. %78. All right. Okay, so we are below average this time around by 3 questions, which, it's okay. Honestly, like, I'm not that disappointed because I expected it, but I'm also I never feel great when I score below average. Yeah, I mean, pass equals MD, right? I just have to figure out like what exactly I got wrong, because in our exam score reports they don't tell you like what the question and answer was, and so all I have is my memory of what the question was. And it looks like after my brief review that some of the questions that I thought I got right I actually got wrong, and some of the questions I thought I got wrong I may have gotten right. So I'm gonna have to check up on those with my classmates. But yeah, overall, room for improvement, and at least I passed. Post-exam baking, my homemade cinnamon roll. Well, I made more, but this one I'm gonna eat.
I just ran 6 miles. It's so hot. I'm so dehydrated.